Hello everybody, Nick here from Super Cheap CPAP. Today I'm going to give you a little bit of an advanced tutorial on how to operate the Philips System 160 series. So this is a little bit of a step up from the beginner's guide of just operating it. We're going to delve into a few more advanced features so that you can really take control of your CPAP therapy and fine tune it and make it as comfortable as possible. So one of the things I'm going to show you is basically what we call the clinical menu. You have two menus with this machine and with most machines. You have your basic sort of patient menu, which is sort of your basic functions, and then you have your clinical menu, which is more for the specialists or the consultants. But I'm going to teach you how to do it yourself so that you don't really need to worry about anyone else. You can do it yourself. It's not terribly difficult, and once you understand a few basic things, you can get in there and have a bit of a fiddle and a play. Okay, don't be scared of it. It's not going to bite you, and if you stuff it up, you can just change it back again. All right, so obviously we have our normal setup here, which takes you through to a few different bits and pieces here. We've got A-flex, heated tube on, humidity level, just basic bits and pieces. You can go through your manual and learn about all these bits and pieces there as to what they do. I'm not going to go through them individually just now. I'm going to show you a little bit more advanced stuff. So to get into a clinical menu, what we need to do is turn this dial to setup, and then we need to hold down these two buttons simultaneously. Just keep holding them down there. Keep holding them down until you hear that double beep. Now when we go to setup, it's going to look different, okay? Okay, now we've got things that we didn't have previously, okay? The first one at the top here is mode. All right, now mode is what therapy mode the machine's in. So currently this machine's an automatic, so we can have it in auto mode, auto trial, what we call C-check, and CPAP. CPAP's your fixed pressure. C-check is basically like a variation of fixed pressure. Okay, I'm not going to go through each one of these exactly at the moment. I'll just start with automatic, and then I might show you a few other bits and pieces. Okay, so with our automatic mode, we have what we call auto max and auto min. Now the min pressure is the base level pressure, so the lowest pressure, and the max is the highest pressure. And basically the machine will adjust the pressure in between these two values based on what's required, what information it's receiving about your breathing throughout the night. All right. The more you stop breathing, the higher the pressure is going to go to control that. Okay, so the machine will basically take all that information in, feed it into the computer that's inside the machine, and then it will adjust the motor speed to deliver the correct pressure throughout the night. Now, these levels are adjustable. Okay, so what we can do, sorry about the, try and hold it a bit stiller for you. Now, we can actually adjust these. So see how I've got 20 here. I can actually bring this down a bit, all right? And same with the min, I can actually increase that if I want to. Now, this is quite good in a sense that there are certain situations where you might want to change the actual range, and I'm going to give you a few of those situations. One is sometimes 4 centimeters, the min pressure, it feels like there's not enough air coming through the machine. Okay, in the beginning, some of you might remember when you first turn it on, it feels like you're suffocating a little bit, like there's not enough air coming through. What you can actually do with that is actually increase the min pressure up to 5, up to 6, and just play around with that min pressure to find a level that you feel like the air coming through is most comfortable. All right. Another scenario with these automatics is sometimes if you've got quite severe sleep apnea, sometimes it can take a little bit of time for that pressure to sort of, go up to say 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, up to those higher levels. So you can bring that minimum pressure up so it's starting off a higher base. Okay, it's going to take less time to get up to those higher levels if you need them. Now, once again, with the upper limit, sometimes with these automatic machines, the therapy can, I guess, run away from itself a little bit, and it can overshoot, or it can become so strong that it starts waking you up. So if the pressure gets too high, sometimes it does more harm than good because the therapy can become quite uncomfortable. It can start causing, mask leaks and actually waking you up more than you might normally from the actual sleep apnea itself. So in that scenario, what we can actually do is cap the upper limit. So if you're finding that I'm going to go back. If you're finding that the pressure's just getting a little bit too high and it keeps waking you up throughout the night, actually just cap it a little bit so that it's not, you're still going to treat most of your sleep apnea, but for those couple of moments where, you really need that extra bit of sleep therapy to treat the sleep apnea, it might just not actually go that high, which means that you'll still stay asleep and it's not going to wake you up. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit more about fine-tuning that in a minute, but that's just how we adjust those things there. Now we've got OptiStart. We don't really need to worry about that. Flex type is the A flex. You can change that to C flex. It's much of a muchness. It basically just drops the pressure as we breathe out. So as you exhale, the machine drops down a bit in pressure to make it easier to exhale. Now we can have it 3, 2, or 1. The higher you have the number, the more the machine drops the pressure as you exhale. Okay, so if you're finding it difficult to breathe out against the pressure, you want A flex on 3. If you're finding it, if you're finding that drop in pressure sort of throws you off a bit, you might want to turn that down to 1. Now, just be aware that the flex does make the machine a little bit noisier, not by much, but because that motor sort of slows and starts, it sort of gives it a bit of a, just a little bit of a, not a constant noise, a little bit more noise, I think. Then we've got the heated tube, humidity level, tube temperature, basic sort of stuff there as well. System 1 resistance, which is if you've got a Philips mask. Automatic on, automatic off, basic sort of things, mask alert, mask fit check. So we can check all these sort of things. This is more basic stuff. But the main thing I wanted to show you there is in regards to the top ones. So your Auto Max and Auto Min, they're the ones that I really wanted to show you there. Now what we can do is, I'm just going to get out of this for the moment, go back to exit. What you can do is you can actually monitor your own therapy by going to info, and you can go down to some things here. I'm just going to show you one. So one's called the AHI. This is the most important one. This is the apnea-hypopnea index. You can have a bit of a sticky beak and it'll tell you your numbers down here on your averages. So your 1-day average, 7-day average, and 30-day average. Now you want to try and get that to less than 5. That's the main thing you're trying to do there. Now, if you monitor that and you keep monitoring that and you keep play around with the settings, you can fine-tune those settings to make sure that you're getting the best therapy. And because I didn't touch any buttons, then it goes back. But another thing you can look at, which is a really nice one to look at, is the 90th percentile pressure. Now this tells us here, the averages again, 1-day, 7-day, 30-day average. So I generally look at the 7-day average, that's a good one to go by. That tells us where the machine, what the machine pressure is below 90% of the night. So, for example, it might come up as 11. So let's just say the 7-day is 11. That means that 90% of the night, your machine is running below that value. So it's below 11. So it's only 10% of the night above 11. Now this is pretty good because sometimes what you can do is, if you're like one of those people that are waking up because the pressure's getting too strong for you, you can look at that value and you can kind of say, okay, in order to control 90% of my sleep apnea, I need to be around that level. So you can go into your setup, hold the 2 buttons down to get into the clinical menu, setup, and we can go, okay, my Auto Max is currently at 20. Because my 90th percentile set was 11 over that 7-day average, I'm going to bring it down to the 13 or 12. Let's just go 12, okay? Now what I've actually done then is I've basically capped it at 12. So those times, those 10% of the night when it might have been going up to 15, 16, I've kind of eradicated that now. The machine can't go above 12. Now I can go back and then I can just, over the next couple of days, monitor the therapy and I can check out my apnea-hypopnea index. All right, so every day I can go down, click the AHI, and check what it's doing. Okay, so if I've dropped that pressure, that max pressure down to 12 now, and that apnea-hypopnea index is still staying in a good level, you know, there's no need to have it any higher than that. So I've eliminated the machine from waking me up due to the pressure getting too high, but at the same time controlling my sleep apnea. So it's a win-win there. All right, so that's sort of how you can change bits and pieces to really fine-tune your therapy. If you're going to your apnea-hypopnea index and it's up at 7, it's up at 9, it's up at 15, you know, basically what that could mean is that you know, the machine's having a little bit of a difficult time controlling your sleep apnea. Because it's automatic therapy, you know, it's constantly monitoring you, but it sometimes takes a little bit of time for the actual machine to deliver the correct pressure. So what we can do then is we can also fine tune it a bit. So we can increase the minimum pressure a little bit to try and take out some of that apnea that might be happening at that lower rate. So we're coming off a higher baseline. And adjust the upper limit as well. The other thing you might want to do if you're getting quite high apnea-hypopnea index is change it to fixed pressure. I know that sounds a little bit funny, but we're just going to show you how to do that. So we go to setup, hold the 2 buttons down like we always do. I'm going to go setup again. And I'm going to go mode auto. I'm actually going to go what we call C-check. Now, C-check is basically a mode where the machine will still monitor you. It'll still deliver a fixed pressure, but it has the capacity to go up by 2 or down by 2. So it could go up to 11, or it could go up to 12, or it could go down to 9, or it could go down to 8. So over the last week, let's just say I've had on automatic therapy and I've checked out the 90th percentile pressure and it's coming in at 11. All right, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to fix my pressure at 11. And I'm going to fix it at the 90th percentile pressure. And I'm going to create a little bit of a ramp there. So I'm just going to go down to ramp, just so it builds up. So it doesn't start at, what did I have it at? 11, I think. Yeah, 11. Just because I don't want to start 11, I want to start a little bit lower. I'm going to start it at 5, ramp start at 5, over 30 minutes. So it's gradually going to build up from 5 over 30 minutes. And when it hits 11, it's going to stop there and stay at 11, unless it needs to go up a little bit further. Okay, it can go up to 12 or 13 if it needs to. So now what I'm doing is when I hit the therapy, I'm going to hit that. I'm going to hit this ramp button, which I didn't have to use with the auto. It's going to drop it down to 5. I know it's noisy because there's nothing on the end of the tubing, but it's going to gradually tick up over 25-30 minutes, whatever I set it to 11. And now when it gets to 11, it's going to stay at 11 unless it needs a little bit more. Now the thing is that this might improve my apnea-hypopnea index, because instead of the machine sort of chasing around the sleep apnea, going up and down the automatic variation throughout the night, it's basically at that pressure before the apnea can happen. Okay, the apnea can't really happen because we're already at that level. You might feel like the therapy is a little bit stronger. So generally CPAP therapy is, you know, can be sort of 30 to 40% higher than your automatic average therapy with the auto. But just, you know, these are things you can do to really just fine tune your therapy so that you can get your best out of it. All right, if the machine's waking you up or it's, you know, you're not enjoying it, there's all these little things you can do to really help improve your night's sleep, and just to make sure that your sleep is as healthy as possible. These machines are an investment in your health and generally your partner's health as well, so they don't go crazy with all the snoring. But yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed that little guide. That's sort of a bit more of an advanced course. I'll put a few more bits and pieces up there and go into a few other things, but that's the main thing that we're looking at there, just changing the therapy mode and the upper and lower limits. All right, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out our website, supercheapcpap.com.au. We're pretty much we have the best prices in Australia by a long way, and we also have a price match thing on our website. So if you do find something cheaper, we will beat it by 5%. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.